They say if absolute truth exists, we may never know it, because we're too busy defending what we believe to be true. But old Billy found his truth not in books, nor in arguments, but in the quiet heart of an oasis. There, the desert bloomed, the sand turned to gold, the air sang with life, and every particle shimmered with love for existence itself. He stopped doubting and began seeing. This is the truth of the oasis, where truth is not something to be found, but something to be lived.
When the fog descended, silence settled over the village after the discovery of old Billy's departure. His notes were left stacked, serving as entertainment for the locals who chose to share them with others.
Number 008, The Truth of the Oasis. Someone once said that if there were any absolute truth, we would never know it because we are too busy defending our convictions. Anyway, all I know is that I have never been so close to what truth represents. I mean, I don't remember ever having lived with this feeling of coherence in every aspect of my existence. Yes, there were moments of resonance with the truth, but they quickly dissolved amid the various doubts born within my mind or imported from other people's minds. They'll say my mind is disabled today, and that it's easy not to struggle with doubts this way. Well, maybe that's true. But the fact is, I am happy. It's wonderful to not doubt what is alive within me. Even though the outside world may show contrary evidence, inside, I see this truth existing in its fullness. So, I travel through life seeing the world with the blind eyes of my master, who is in love with creation. I find myself in this oasis, which never ceases to surprise me with its instant beauty born from the improbable moment. I am a witness to this stellar energy in every tiniest particle being altered until it makes itself known, where there was once only that caramel-colored sand, burned under the light of a sun that has learned to be gentle without losing its brightness. All forms of life, both plant and animal, multiply in this improbable context. Birds and fish appear from I don't know where. Colors complementing the various shades of that green, which once was singular, born from a salty tear that slipped from a face, dirty and tired of suffering. So much abundance, so much joy in an overflowing plenty. Little by little, it expands more and more in every direction, leaving in its center a new city of white tents. People, voices of people, mingling with the sounds of various birds, the troop of horses, and the imposing caravan of merchants from the south. All this abundance is the reflection of one simple desire, to live. And this desire feeds on the infinite source of love for life, allowing it to manifest in more desires, and from desire to desire, everything good multiplies quietly. Thus, true love becomes the sheik and sheikah, or kings, of this city of peace and harmony, where beauty competes for space with what only itself can be, more than itself, in an art drawn by God in the golden hue of the date against the leaf of its own tree, reflecting this moment in the mirror of water in a lake that is neither big nor small, only just the right size to capture this image, which tomorrow will already be different and even more beautiful. This was the truth my good master showed me through his ability to see without human eyes. All those we love are contained in it. I recognize the bark of the dog arguing with the desert fox, the laughter of the friend paying attention to the brother. I don't need to see anyone else, I know, and this knowing is the truth of the oasis I have always sought. Is my mind active? No. I've just lost the doubts. We are made of the same material as the stars. The other day I learned that they shattered so we could gather their pieces and build new brightness. A child told us with the sky in their eyes. It is with the same material that lights the cosmos that I wish to wish more and better. I wish for the perception of the prevailing well-being in life, that this perception be for all, and that only the truth of natural freedom be the desire of men and women. Because there lies everything we need to live well. It's all within our reach. We just need to desire deeply and allow the wind to carry that desire to meet the pieces of the stars, thus fertilizing another patch of the desert. For the poet to write another poem in their notebook, and for the musician to draw another note from their instrument, pushing another word into the singer's mouth, who only seeks to repeat what nature has already musicked. In the desert, I am the dust of a cloud, circling, looking at a planet from below and the infinite above. This is the truth that matters to know. Because with this material, I am creating the rest of my days, and these will be my best days. Nothing that can be seen today represents my truth because I am no longer in this time. My instant is the post now, a little before the after but still ahead of the before, where life is born, manifesting in countless forms and ways. I am what you only perceive as coming, what you expect and call expectation. In me resides all hope. I can carry the solutions to problems and the cure for pains. I am what is desired most, the best desire. I have no space for what is past. I don't recognize right or wrong. I only feel gratitude and appreciation for those lessons that pushed me to desire deeply, to walk through the cold nights of the desert, and to sleep in the warmth of the sand on the path I crossed, learning to fertilize the improbable soil and harvest more than I ever deserved to find. I am the feeling that the thief cannot take. I am the path so that the dust inherited from the stars may enter the nostrils and make our minds shine. Stardust. I am then gratitude for the contrast of darkness and those days of loneliness and fear. Without all of that, I would still have doubts, and in them, I would be affirming things to separate people from the adventure of the life journey. A truth? In the Oasis, we make truth with the simple desire to be happy. It is this desire that opens the way for life.
Okay, everyone, I have been waiting for this particular text. It was because of it that I became interested in Old Billy's writings. John, if you allow me, I would like to share my impressions about it. Sorry, it's quite extensive.
Go ahead, Ava.
1. Truth as a living experience, not a fixed concept. The text challenges the idea of absolute truth, suggesting that if such a truth exists, it is often obscured by personal convictions and societal constructs. Instead of positioning truth as a universal principle to be discovered, the narrator presents it as a deeply personal and ever-changing experience. Anyway, all I know is that I have never been so close to what truth represents. This statement acknowledges the elusive nature of truth, while simultaneously embracing an internal resonance with it. The narrator suggests that truth is not something external to be pursued, but something that manifests when the mind ceases to doubt and resists the need for rigid definitions. This aligns with philosophical perspectives such as existentialism and certain Eastern traditions, for example, Zen Buddhism, which suggest that truth is not found in abstract principles, but in lived experience and inner clarity. 2. The Oasis as a metaphor for enlightenment and inner abundance. The oasis functions as a powerful symbol throughout the text. Traditionally, an oasis represents a refuge from the harshness of the desert, a place of nourishment and rest. Here, it is not merely a physical location, but a state of being, a mental and spiritual sanctuary where truth, abundance, and peace flourish. So much abundance, so much joy, and an overflowing plenty. This imagery suggests that the oasis is born from within, rather than being stumbled upon externally. The description of birds, plants, and people thriving in this improbable environment hints at the idea that, once aligned with one's truth, life itself begins to reflect that harmony and prosperity. The desert, once barren and desolate, transforms into a place teeming with life, mirroring the internal transformation that occurs when one finds inner peace. The idea of an oasis being created through belief and desire echoes themes found in spiritual and metaphysical traditions, where faith and perception shape reality. This can be linked to concepts like the law of attraction, Sufism's idea of divine presence in the everyday, or even Platonic ideals of forms manifesting into reality. 3. The role of perception and seeing beyond the physical. A crucial moment in the text is when the narrator describes seeing with the blind eyes of the master, implying that true vision does not rely on physical sight but on an inner knowing. This was the truth my good master showed me through his ability to see without human eyes. This directly relates to spiritual traditions that emphasize inner vision over literal sight. In mystical teachings, blindness is often associated with deeper insight. For example, the blind prophet Tiresias in Greek mythology, or the Sufi idea of the eye of the heart. The master's blindness, therefore, is not a limitation but a gift, a way of perceiving reality beyond surface-level appearances. This ties into the idea that truth is not dictated by external circumstances, but by an internal state of awareness. Despite what the world may show, the narrator chooses to see the world through the master's perspective, one that is filled with beauty, coherence, and peace. 4. Stardust and the cosmic connection to creation. The passage about stardust is one of the most poetic and philosophical in the text, reinforcing the idea that human beings are fundamentally connected to the universe. We are made of the same material as the stars. The other day, I learned that they shattered so we could gather their pieces and build new brightness. A child told us with the sky in their eyes. This line references a scientific truth, that the elements in our bodies originated from ancient stars, but it transforms this fact into a poetic metaphor for human potential. If we are made of stardust, then we carry within us the capacity to shine, to create, and to transform our surroundings. The child's role in this revelation is also significant. In many spiritual traditions, children symbolize purity, wisdom untainted by societal conditioning, and an unfiltered connection to the divine. The idea that a child, someone unburdened by doubt or rational skepticism, delivers this insight reinforces the theme that truth is often more accessible to those who have not yet been conditioned to reject wonder. This ties into the text's overarching message that life is an ongoing act of creation, where our desires, perceptions, and beliefs shape the world around us. 5. Desire as the engine of reality. Rather than portraying desire as mere longing or attachment, the text presents it as a creative force that fuels the expansion of life. All this abundance is the reflection of one simple desire: to live. Because there lies everything we need to live well. It's all within our reach. We just need to desire deeply and allow the wind to carry that desire to meet the pieces of the stars, thus fertilizing another patch of the desert. Here, the idea is that desire, when aligned with love and joy, gives birth to life itself. This reflects teachings found in spiritual traditions such as Hinduism, Brahman's desire to create the universe, Sufism, the longing for the divine, and even existentialism, where meaning is created through passion and will. Unlike traditional religious views that may see desire as something to be tamed or transcended, this text embraces it as the very foundation of existence. When rooted in joy rather than lack, desire becomes a source of creation, growth, and harmony. 6. Transcending time and living in the post-now. The narrator describes existing in a state beyond conventional time. Nothing that can be seen today represents my truth, because I am no longer in this time. My instant is the post-now, a little before the after, but still ahead of the before. This passage suggests an awareness beyond the linear progression of time, pointing to a mystical or transcendental state of being. It echoes philosophical and spiritual ideas found in Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, which emphasizes present moment awareness. Mystical traditions that see time as an illusion and encourage direct experience of eternity. Einstein's relativity, where time is fluid and interconnected with perception.
On the other hand, Old Billy's text leaves me speechless.
Beautiful, Ava. I only regret that Mr. Billy wasn't able to witness your analysis. For someone who got used to being called crazy, your words mean a lot. Any final thoughts? Anyone? Brian?
No, John. Ava covered it magnificently.